to the rationalinvestor.com's daily brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. I don't know whether you caught the cough or not, but I just had a big cough just before Chris goes, and you're live. Anyway, welcome back to the frivolity. It is Friday, TGIF. Oh, it's options expiry day today. Oh, dun dun dun. Third Friday of the month. Triple witching. I think it's we'll just I don't know, call it regular witching. I don't know. It's not one of the big honking quarterly expiry, so that's good. But it is a November expiry. Third Friday, actually, some interesting options information. I was even tweeting out yesterday comments about Bitcoin ETFs. And the sad part about it is I even said in the commentary, kind of cheeky and a little bit sarcastic, but are you really sure you want a spot market ETF? Hopefully I've shown you week after week after week how these ETF options expiries, the big boys, they just have some fun screwing around with the market on a regular basis with the options expiry. So if we get a Bitcoin ETF like off of the spot market, they'll do the same thing to that as they do on a regular basis to this BITO. So it was kind of interesting to see how they jumped the market up into this November options expiring. You can see a lot of call open interest, just a little bit higher than where we are. So they want to make darn sure the market doesn't move any higher than here. And a whole bunch of put open interest a little bit lower than where we are here, which would explain why you saw that big bump up in Bitcoin prices here recently, as all those options will now expire worthless. It would be interesting one day. I don't ever seem to have enough time, but it would be interesting one day just to circle back around and see what the actual dollar figures is. What's the average rate on these things, and how much money are we actually talking about? I bet you we're talking about, even probably just off of this silly thing, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not weird. I want to hit zoom in, and so what happens? The picture gets smaller. How does that always happen? Anyway, wanted to show you this. See, I guess we can go here and then go here and then go. There we go, and then here and then here, and there we go. Zoom in. So a really good lesson in options expiry. So there is the put open interest in, and fascinating how as long as they keep the market above, say, 18.5 here on these guys, all of these put options will all expire worthless. And then notice, look how there's absolutely no open interest up here at all. And then on the call side, actually there are quite a few calls that are going to expire in the money. I wouldn't even be surprised if they try and get the market to go out like right around this 18 area. So that guy expires maybe just slightly in the money, but the average right price makes it that Wall Street wins. So anyway, today is options expiry. So we could probably, in fact, actually in the after part, maybe we'll look at this. We could take a look at the oil options, because oil had a pretty big day there. And we can also take a look at the S&P 500 ETF options. So lots of interesting information there. I suppose starting out the day, doing our little ICT matrix just to watch for liquidity hunts, pool hunts. Didn't really see anything set up trade-wise for me on that front today, but I am watching diligently. And it being a Friday and options expiry, I'd be a little bit leery about putting on any new positions now that we're on the other side of the European close. I'll probably close up shop for the day. Day trading, actually, I'm proud of myself in that actually a little bit of a fat finger yesterday, but even yesterday's fat finger still made half decent bank on the day trade. Let's see if I can show you. There it was there. And in yesterday's video, Julian, of course, does Thursdays, but Chris helps him. Really wanted Chris to talk to all of you about just the insane trade that he pulled off yesterday. Made some great money on this opening range trade. I kind of fat fingered the trade myself. So I was a little bit cross at myself yesterday. Um, I was, if anything, what I'm really pleased to see is that, he and I are working diligently, and they say it usually takes about 90 days to form a new habit. So, of course, me living on the West Coast of North America, terrible, terrible time to be a day trader of these futures products. I suppose the only thing that would be worse is maybe living over in Asia, or our poor buddy Zach in Hawaii. But Zach's making so much money spread trading. I don't think we need to worry about him. In fact, actually, a name that I don't know whether we probably won't have enough time in this public broadcast to get to it. But anyway, so this was our opening range trade yesterday. And look, like I even put out a tweet, I think a week or two ago, we caught one of these one directional moves. This is exactly why you want to trade futures contracts. Look at that. It was just one directional the entire day. I mean, if we zoom out, look at that. It just kept going and going and going. Um, if I'm not mistaken, Chris, didn't you say yesterday you took a, and does the public hear your voice when you say something here? Because I noticed yesterday when you were talking, couldn't hear you say anything in the video that you do with Julian.
Yeah, Julian was running the show yesterday, so he didn't have that set up for that. But the audience can hear me now. So hello,
All
audience.
right. If I'm not mistaken, I think you took some profits at this 4669, eh?
I did. I took final profits
Yeah.
there, and
I mean,
all the rest of it went down.
this is exactly why you day trade. I mean, I fat fingered this. I was supposed to have on 3 contracts, and I could only get 1 contract on. I sold 1 contract here. There's one. And because I only had one, I took profits at 2.618. Because this thing could have easily come right back and it would have turned into a scratch trade. Had I had multiple contracts on, I should have taken one profit, take another profit, move stop to scratch, and then just let the trade run. But anyway, I mean, what the hell, profitable day. If anything, here's a really good example. This is a very typical sort of, running a business of trading kind of life. Let's see if I can show you the spreadsheet. So this was my week. Lost 54. I missed an OR trade, ORT trade first thing Monday morning, which I was pissed off about. Then Tuesday, lost 54 ticks. Wednesday, lost 54 ticks. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm a loser. I can't do anything right. Thursday, keep your focus. Fat fingered the trade, but was still able to take 114 ticks from the market. So, hey, I'm a profitable trader. Look at me. And then today, we were able to take 47 ticks from the market. So, actually, on balance, profitable week. Really, I think the most important thing here is I got to be the demonstrator of best practices. That's the whole point of doing these videos, talking to you guys, risk management, setting up your setups, set up your screens, just do everything the way you're supposed to do it. And then that way, at least I have some credibility in your guys' eyes. So here was our opening range trade here this morning. Was able to strap on the appropriate contracts. This one here was kind of a fun one. We had a fog and bomb here. Again, remember I took profits on the 2.618 tag yesterday. Took profits on the 2.618 tag today. And then you can see move stop to scratch, and I was stopped at scratch on the remaining position. So anyway, profitable day, profitable week trading futures. Good to see. Demonstrator of best practices, everything just operating the way I'm supposed to. So anyway, way to go, Brian. I was super pleased at myself in that regard. As I said, looking at the broader market, crude oil is all over the map these days. thought it was interesting just looking at this daily and weekly chart. Crude oil has done some serious technical damage here. Huge M's on the weekly price chart. Interesting how 2.618s are going to be nothing more than a test of this liquidity pool, all these lows in here. And does that actually confirm a big monthly M? Holy moly. If that does come in, then, the irony of it all is that I teach in the education program, but although, listening to the people on the website, I don't know whether people actually believe in the shit that I'm trying to teach people, which is a little disappointing. But anyway, it is what it is. You'll have to learn through it and go through it yourself to understand. But we are technically in a commodity bear market now. Unfortunately, that whole fucking sickness joke of a con job just messed everything all up in the Jupiter Saturn cross and all that. But on balance, we should actually be in like it should have been about a 17 and a half year commodity bear cycle that started in 2018. So with it 2023, we're 5 years into that. We have another 12 years of commodity bear cycle to go. And actually, a really easy way to see that these days is to actually look at something like the Canadian dollar. And I was putting tweets and stuff out to this effect, where you can actually see from a longer term perspective the Canadian dollar. I mean, hello, what are we supposed to think if you see the market smiling at you? This is a big fat commodity proxy in the world. I mean, that's regardless of what substitute drama teachers think and that stupid asshole fucking our country up just royally. But aside from that, Canada is historically known as a commodity nation, and you can see graphically how this is a bear market. I mean, wow, we tipped over and we officially went into bear here in 2017, 2018, right? Actually, when we're supposed to go into the bear market. So I think that this thing's heading lower, and they always say that currencies lead everything. So the fact that this thing looks like it's pointing lower actually validates what I'm seeing out of the commodities market. And I tell you, on a weekly basis, gee whiz, that is just the nastiest fail if there ever could be. So anyway, caveat emptor. Let's see, what else can we talk about here today? I saw there was some econs here this morning. I mean, when I thought it was kind of funny, Jim Cramer, of course, on the TRI website, people posting Jim Cramer's basically calling soft landing in I guess the economy in the States. I've been barking all along here that I believe that the U.S. will not go into recession. Having said that, I think that Winnie the Pooh actually coming to the United States and coming to America, and then Biden literally knowing that he's in a massive position of strength. Somebody asked him, "Well, do you still think Xi's a dictator?" And he's like, "Yeah." And Chris and I were joking earlier. Of course, his Secretary of State's like, "Oh God, why are you saying that? You're making my life so hard." So, but if anything, hats off to Biden for having balls. And this is a typical like senior citizen. They don't give a fuck. I remember I used to when I was in my late teens, early 20s. I was living with two great aunts of mine in downtown Toronto when I was working in the stock market there, and they didn't care about anything. They were in their 80s or 90s. If they said something that pissed you off, they'd be like, "So what? I'm just about dead. Doesn't make any difference." And I see the same thing in Biden now. He just doesn't care. So anyway, just the point being that the fact that Z was so motivated to actually make the trip to the United States of America. You think Biden's going to go over to China and go and hang out in downtown Beijing? No, I don't think so. So the fact that Xi actually had the impetus to do that, to me, shows a major sign of weakness. And the fact that Biden's like, yeah, this guy's a total dictator, I think he also sees that China's in an incredibly weak position right now. And it's China, it's Europe, it's China, because our stupid communist dictator leader of our country has completely fucked our whole society up. And it's Russia as a commodities nation, it's Australia as a commodity supplier. These are the countries that are going to be in big trouble here going forward, not the United States. I would argue the United States is an incredibly powerful position. And gee whiz, I thought it was interesting. I was watching one guy, and I can't remember where it is. Maybe one of you can find it, but I think it's the Associated Press or something like that. Has 2024 question mark, question mark, question mark, and a picture of Donald Trump's silhouette on the front of their magazine. Have any of you guys see that? Did any of you guys see that? If somebody could find that for me, I think I could easily see Mr. Trump come storming. It was The Economist. Oh, okay. Thanks, Nick. Was that you who posted? Did you post it? Oh, cool. Yeah. In fact, actually, I wouldn't even mind that. I could actually see him come storming back to power, and the United States go through like a little period of a renaissance here. And just the same way as Ronald Reagan did exactly the same thing back in the 80s. But you guys probably don't even remember Ronald Reagan. But it was the similarities I think are quite shocking. So, and I do find it interesting how the media just keeps posting. I don't see it on here. But media keeps posting about how Donald Trump is in such big trouble and oh, the judge hates him and all that. But I don't know. I haven't heard any convictions. I mean, I don't know. Man, he could probably be sent to jail and it'd still win the presidency. Anyway, I'm just sort of blabbing here today. Hope you guys are enjoying Freestyle Fridays. I don't see it here, Nick. Where is it? He's got a really colorful. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. Okay, I see it. So this is that image. I saw somebody else actually talking about this last night, yesterday as well. So, the irony of it all is the United States of America, thanks to Mr. Trump. Remember the way that he played the leader of my country, eh? Made him look like a total fool. But Mr. Trump set the United States of America up in a very, very powerful position here. And then, of course, we're on the other side of the fear greed cycle. The United States has got its demographic situation in order. It's got basically its balance sheet in order, and it's got all its trading relationships. Mexico's basically willing to do anything and everything in its power to take China's place as a supplier of cheap goods and products. I mean, the United States is in a very powerful position right now. The United States has all the oil and all the energy it ever needs. The irony of it all, it's just these stupid fucking leftist socialist commies that are trying to like undermine all of that. I don't know why, but anyway, I can't write better fiction than reality. So, not a big surprise. Another relatively positive data print coming out of the US. Housing starts and permits rise. Interesting headlines. Canadians' PPI unexpectedly drops. I do believe that actually we should go through a period of deflation here in Canada. And, you've heard me talk at length about this stupidity of the Canadian real estate market. I wouldn't be surprised if over the next few years there's a major awakening to reality for these silly Canadians. And they realize what a mess they've put themselves in. And actually, what I'm starting to hear a lot of chatter about now is all these people. Because keep in mind, in the U.S., you could go and get like a 30-year fixed rate mortgage and lock in those really, really low rates. In fact, even Sjord over there in Europe, he was able to do that. So I'm talking about where the hell are you? Charts, too many charts, too many charts. This right here. But this doesn't really even exist in fucking Rothschild's Canada. I remember when interest rates were really, really low. I went and priced mortgages, and I wanted to go get a really, really long dated mortgage at like that 3%. You can see the numbers down here. And this didn't even exist in Canada. The fucking commie dictator oligarch Rothschild's asshole banking system here in Canada, the best you could do. If you wanted to get one of these long dated mortgages, oh yeah, sure. 9%. Fucking assholes. Totally fix the market. I swear, the place is like, it's so corrupt. It's ridiculous. And I don't understand why nobody over time or history calls out these assholes for all this. So anyway, I guess we're not going to be monetized today, eh? But I hope you guys are all enjoying the piss and vinegar. I see Talal says, love your work, sir. You have changed my life. Wow, there's a statement. God damn. Oh, I like the sound of that. And YouTube can go suck my you know what. As long as I keep changing people's lives, I'm doing what Spirit asked me to do. And I don't care about the money. The money is meaningless. YouTube fucking penance. All right. Anyway, blah blah blah. Where's that DMAC? He must be going, oh wow, look at the rants today. Woo! Okay, so what am I supposed to be talking about today? Oh yeah, like I said, the markets, right? So the point, I guess, about all of this, maybe we'll just, I don't know, we're probably coming into the end of this. Econs still relatively okay for North America. I don't see anything that's really shocking here. There you can see the building numbers that came out first thing this morning. Housing starts still relatively positive. I've told you repeatedly, U.S. single family homes is the most desirable asset class to be invested in around the world. And of course, you know, Peter Finks or Larry Fink or whatever the hell that guy's name is. And all those Wall Street guys, I mean, they're buying up all the new housing units they can possibly get their hands on. So that's about it for your econs today. We got a whole bunch of Fed speakers, and my hunch is they're probably going to try and talk down the bullishness of the market and talk about how they want to stay vigilant on interest rates and all that. But I think they're getting what they want. As I had said there a few minutes ago, you saw the headline. If we look down in here, Canadian, interesting, look at that. Canadian foreign securities purchased major capital outflows from Canada. And I would expect this to happen quite a bit. Interesting foreign purchases by Canadians. So Canadians are buying up tons of foreign assets, not touching anything in Canada. But who can finish this sentence? Beamish has been saying this now for a few years. Canada is a fill in the blank. You know how the rest of that goes. All right, thank you, sir. PPI coming out of Canada, negative, nasty, nasty numbers. So I would imagine that the industrial base, whatever the hell that is in our country, thanks substitute drama teachers, they're dying 1,000 deaths right now. Excellent, well said, Adam. And and then other econs. Well, we had just this smattering of some bullish data out of the U.S. Wow, Brian Schiller full of rants today. We'll say that the breadth indicator is still pointing up. So in the U.S. market, buy when it snows, sell when it goes. I have a funny feeling you just saw your cyclic peak there, or excuse me, trough. And the next troughing event, if you want to write this down, thank you, Cotter. Next troughing event, I believe, is in the middle of March, April, somewhere in there. What's interesting about that too is that idiot over there in Russia, Vladdy, he's got an election coming up. Yeah, what a joke. In March of this coming year. So I have a funny feeling. And then if I understand correctly, the scuttlebutt is he's gonna have some sort of kangaroo fucking election, total fraud. But as soon as he appears to have justifiably democratically won the election, yeah, right. He's going to announce a new mobilization and another big wave of attacks on poor old Ukraine. Well, sure hope they can hang in. I did find it interesting, speaking of Ukraine, that the Germans want to sort of step in and fill the void a little bit with the Americans backing away. And I have to say, I'm actually pretty proud of the guy that's actually in charge of the U.S. House of Representatives right now, right wing guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's got a pair of cojones. He's stepping up and he's like, you know what? I'm not. You're not going to push me around. Whereas the last guy that was in power, he got pushed around. And he actually basically just tried to say, well, this is just going to be business as usual. We're going to do, crony capitalism. Yes, the right wing party is fiscal conservative, but fuck it. Let's just go spend a whole bunch of money we don't have on a country over there in Eastern Europe. And these people are always murdering each other. So there's really no change. I mean, that's half of the reason why you have isolationism in the States, is they're just like, this is just so normal for Europeans. Why do we just go and throw money away mindlessly? Anyway, that's another conversation altogether. Okay, so markets pointing up. It was interesting how recently we got into a situation where crypto actually got egregiously overbought. I think crypto is calming down a little bit. I have noticed there is a bit of pullback coming into the crypto market. Things aren't looking nearly as orgy-esque, if you will. I'd also say too that I think a lot of what happened there, I showed you right out of the gate on this broadcast, was to do with options expiry. This is the Bitcoin ETF that's based off of the futures contracts. I did put this tweet out. If you aren't familiar with this concept, I think you should, at the very least, bookmark it, especially if you are a big fan of Bitcoin, because this will give you a really handy gauge as to where the 1% likes to take markets out. They do most of their business through the options market because it has nothing to do with the SEC, and they can do all the crony capitalism they want, and they don't have to report anything to anybody. So it behooves you to understand what's going on here. Sort of stock market wise, I often suggest that most of the business is done on the Thursday, and then the Friday, actually, that's a pretty quiet day in the market. So you can see this is the S&P 500. This is the big monthly contract. You can see the heaviest open interest on the call side is 455, 70,000 contracts there. It looks like there's a pretty big one here. 52,000 contracts there at 450. So just from the call side perspective, I think they're highly incentivized to try and make sure the S&P goes out below this 450 area. Keep in mind, a lot of retail does covered calls. So I'm not as motivated by this information. I'm super motivated by the puts. And I mean, this is blatant, eh? Yeah, interesting though. Somebody put on a pretty big trade up top here, 15,000 at the 460s. But you can clearly see, 20,000, 50,000, 45,000. And then as we get up into sort of where we are now, we can always just refresh this just to make sure we got fresh data here for you. Notice we got 20,000 that could expire in the money if this goes out at say 449.95 or better. You might find that the average right price of this is a couple bucks. You can see even today's high is $1.27. So it would be interesting to see where Wall Street sort of break even is on this contract. You can see a heavy volume, eh? But if they took this thing out at like 450.50 or something like that, then all of these put options would all expire worthless. So business as usual, so very typical. And like I said there about the Bitcoin ETF, do you really want Wall Street to do this shit month in, month out with Bitcoin price, especially off of the spot ETF? It's bad enough they do this on the futures, but on the spot market as well, I don't think we really want it, but it's too late now. I think it's coming. Mr. Rhymes with Dink. He's got a major hard on, no pun intended, about this Bitcoin ETF. I think he wants to get into this business as soon as possible. And, it's an absolute cash cow, especially with the fact that Bitcoin is theoretically supposed to be going into a bull market here, really within the next 6 months or so following the halving event. Other names that you might want to consider participating in the market, as I showed you, uranium names starting to look bullish again. We've got bullish bots setting up. This is a uranium royalty corp that I'm long from off of the bottom, feeling pretty good. I might even take a speculative trade on this. Really interesting price action in uranium here. 3D printing companies. David O, our stock picker extraordinaire. He was super bullish about this name down in this. You can see inverted head and shoulders kind of thinking here. So there's a couple names that are actually breaking out. And on Wednesday's broadcast, I was barking at all of you guys about this SKYR. I don't know whether anybody took the trade or not, but no, that's not what it is. S something. SSSSS, the SS minnow? No, that's what, where the hell is it? Usually I like, oh, by the way, we have a Black Friday deal coming up here. We do have actually a page set up here. What I would strongly suggest you do is if you are thinking about joining the school program in the new year, take a real good look at the school discount. I think you're going to get a really good deal. I'll talk more about this and broiler chickens and stuff like that. I just happen to have the tab up here. Sorry for that derailment. All right, where the hell did that damn stock go? It was such a cute little name too. Do I have it on here? I want to say S. Oh, fudge. Oh, God. Got me with my pants down. Damn it. Well, I'll probably talk more about it later on, but it's the most beautiful chart. On Wednesday, I was pointing it out to you guys. The only problem is I can't chase it up top here now. I don't know where the hell I put the damn symbol. Oh, what a doofus. Yes. Okay. No, I look like a total idiot. No, anyway, moving on. We'll circle around back to it maybe on the weekend. SKYX. There you go. Look at that. W's within W's. Beautiful. And actually, this is a setup. We had an old OG who absolutely loved this setup and unfortunately passed away. Poor guy. But a doji and then a gap and a massive candle following the gap. This is actually a guy who won the World Series of Trading Championship like 2 or 3 years in a row. This was he called it doji gap. Then there was a guy on the website who absolutely loved this setup. His name was Joby, so we called this the Joby gap. But you can see that thing's working away. Beautiful double bottom there. And, if somebody write this down, this should be an interesting experiment. This thing theoretically should go up to at least $2.50. So, I mean, hell, that's like 50% move higher just from these levels. And really, I wouldn't be surprised if we're up at $3.50, which is almost a double from the breakout level. So anyway, I was barking to you guys about that on Wednesday. If any of you took that trade, way to go. You're in the money. We'll finish off our conversation today with quick boo at the old corn. I was putting out lots of tweets and stuff yesterday about how, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm just going to say it. If you're a new person to trading, you got no business touching this thing right here. This has got trap written all over it. Maybe I could very easily see us like work our way a bit higher and then bam, could easily see that. Now, this happens to be an inside bar here. So, I mean, if we finish this week and then we go through that low, that actually becomes a sell signal. So I guess the way that I'm looking at this right now is you could buy this here and it might move up. You could buy this here, it might move down. I would even say the odds of it going up versus the odds of going down, probably 50-50. And as a professional investor, professional trader, you don't want to take trades that have setups that are 50-50. That is not in your best interest. You want to try and find situations where the odds are in your favor. And of course, anybody that's worked with me over a while, you know that W's themselves, the odds are like 60 to 70%. That if you buy the W level, and especially if you can buy it at the bottom end of the range and on bullish divergences, you got pretty good odds that the market's going to work in your favor. Nothing's guaranteed in this business, but if you fancy yourself a trader and you fancy yourself a speculator in the market, that's the whole point of this is you have to identify edge, i.e., whatever this setup it is that I'm hunting, I expect it to be right more than I expect it to be wrong. Right now, I would say this is just a coin toss. It could go either way from here. It is interesting for those people that are watching lower time frames that I have been sort of teaching you guys over the past 8 years or two. I haven't really done a module on it for the school. I probably should. But this is the way that I would trade RSI. And it's the 3 M's and 3 W's scenario. So as long as we have M's working here, this is a bearish scenario. So I think that should be just stated from the get-go. The first M usually stops the bull because keep in mind, through this part of the move, everybody's all bullish and hey, we're all going to get rich. Oh, look at us. Woohoo. So this M right here, when you see RSI do that, that is your warning sign. Yeah, maybe my price might screw around up here. We might actually find price goes to new highs, but RSI is working in M, which is a bearish divergence, which is a major, major warning sign. So first M is, all right, maybe I'm a bull, but I just got to cool my jets. Got to let the noobs do all their circle jerking and, just wait for calmer heads to prevail. The second M is actually a trade setup. So the second M, and if we look at this particular bar in earnest, and let's go see what the hell price looked like, but through there, that was basically this dump into the fast moving average, which frankly I think makes sense. You can see that trade didn't last very long. Boom! They rallied it right back up against the highs. It's interesting how they were not able to take this thing to new highs on different perspective. And then yesterday, boom, right back down. But what's interesting about yesterday, and this is what has me a little concerned here right now, is that yesterday's boom, right back down. Got a lot of people all like, oh boy, this is it. It's going to collapse. But that made a third M in RSI. And usually the third M is a trap. So, if you want to record this, take screenshots of this, try this for yourself. This is Brian's karmic PMA. Hey, I want to make a positive difference in this world. Take a screenshot of this. Sit after you watch this video, maybe even watch this video a few times. Chris could maybe even do a clip on this. It's up to him. But the point is that right now we're getting, yes, we got the third M. But notice when I was looking at the price itself, you notice that we're not really going anywhere here, right? It's kind of just choppy chop, choppy chop, choppy chop. There was that second M, which set up this dump. Then the market rallied right back up, blew out all these little M's in price, but could not go through that high. Then the third M comes in. Everybody in the boat, okay, this is it. It's the short, it's the sell. And usually that's a trap. And I hate to say it, but it kind of looks like that's the case. Is that not a W that's coming in there? Uh-oh. So anybody who did short that yesterday, they might just get their asses handed to them. Now, what this does look like to me, for whatever it's worth, and actually this is off of the daily chart again, is this kind of looks head and shoulders as a So I don't necessarily think Bitcoin's going to go mooning here. I think probably as long as, like that MACD histogram, that is a nasty, nasty failure. So for us to get bullish, in fact, when we have these bearish divergences in the MACD histogram, what is Brian always saying? Can anybody help fill this? cool your what? So as long as this is making lower highs and lower lows and you're a bull, just cool your you know what. Does anybody know what the hell I'm saying here? And as long as RSI is there's no W's in sight here, cool your jets. Thank you, Adam. You're so awesome. I would also say too that these M's did not come through the 50 line. That's why I have this 50 line highlighted on this chart. If the second M comes through the 50 line, this yellow one, oh boy, that's a huge signal, but it didn't happen here. So I called this a weak sell signal there the other day. Now I'd actually say that the noobs are coming in here and they're getting bullish. The third M, or bearish, beg your pardon. I think that this is actually a trap. So we'll see what happens. I think that we've got to get through the options expiry today. I think that's the whole reason why they sort of stopped the bull run here, was they had to basically make sure that as many of these options expire worthless as possible. So they got everybody insanely bullish. They bought all the calls up. Now they just slowly back the market up and park it. And of course, all these puts now are going to expire worthless, and all of these big chunky calls are going to expire worthless. Now, once that event happens at the end of the day, then, and we head into the weekend, then I'd actually be interested to circle back around and just see what these alts are doing. Because what I've noticed here recently, and I think it's a function of the market state right now, is that since sort of that October dump, the alts have actually been leading the charge. And like, look at this little CVC. I mean, if we keep seeing this, then you might find that there's another leg higher here that we got to go. But it'll be really interesting to see through the weekend how the alts act, because you can see a bunch of them are showing a bunch of red here. But do we start seeing through today that the alts start come charging back here? Now, some of them are taking pretty big thumpings, like a lot. But look at fucking Sjord's name here. Look at it. It's trying to make new highs. So one of Sjord's names is actually starting to turn back up in earnest. You can see some of this C pool sure looks interesting. He's having a hell of a run. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a pop on him. So keep your eyes peeled. I don't know whether this market is done. The one thing that really worried me about a week or two ago was when we saw the breadth indicator so ridiculously embedded in overbought. This was a major, major warning sign. So as long as that's cleaned up, and now, like I said, the Bitcoin chart, it's cleaning itself up. As soon as we start seeing some W's, and I think what would make Bitcoin actually start to turn back up here in earnest is, and really, investors, like I said earlier, I don't think there's anything to be done here. Willie's stupid. This is going to take some time to clean up. There's no doubt about it. The question I have here is, does Bitcoin just go sideways? Could it have one more push up top here? If the alts all start going crazy, I definitely think that's a possibility. I don't have any setups or anything. And maybe by the time we roll around to Sunday, we'll start seeing some firmness on this Bitcoin chart here. And, maybe off of things like the 4-hour chart, you can see there's a W trying to form here. Maybe we're starting to get one high, two highs, three higher highs. I don't know. And of course, if things like the algo start turning back up, maybe we go back into bull mode. So not looking as dangerous as it was. I think we're a little bit late on the short trade now. And if anything, I want to let this thing set up a little bit more to actually see that new short trade fire. Because I don't think there's a short setting up here right now. And if anything, there's some names that have done their big pullbacks that actually I'm like, well, if we get a little bit more of a pullback, I can actually go back into buy mode here. So anyway, there's your crazy ass market summary for Friday. Also, hearing talk that who's getting ready to ramp up. You can see the W's trying to form. This guy really hasn't participated in this bull run. So is it Dog Money's turn to have a bit of a rally here? I mean, hell, you can see the W's trying to come in. you see where I'm long. So, hey, maybe you're going to hear that Brian's banging out doubles on Doge. Who knows? All right, let's head on over to the after party. Give you a little bit extra long summary video there today. As you can tell, I'm all full of piss and vinegar. I will talk to you all again on Sunday. Slow and steady wins the race. PMA for the win. Remember what your number one job is. Don't take no wooden nickels. And bye for now.